Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to my channel, Learn Database Management System with Professor Anuja Vaidya. So, in this channel, we are going to cover all the contents related with the database management system, which are very helpful for your curriculum. If you are studying the polytechnic engineering, computer engineering course, or you are in the computer engineering degree course, in both the technical fields, computer fields, this course will be very helpful. Now let's start with the introduction of the database. As we know, each and every organization like a shopping mall, hospitals, banking, educational institutes and all the industries needs to store and process huge amount of data in a effective manner. In this course, we are going to learn everything about the database. What do you mean by database? How to store this huge amount of information in the database? How to modify that information? How to extract that information from the database? So all these skills we are going to develop step by step through this course. So briefly, we will go through the contents to be covered in this course. So firstly, we will see the database introduction, then database terminologies. What are the different terminologies or what are the different keywords which are used in the database language? Then advantages of the database over the file processing system. Then what do you mean by the data abstraction, data modeling, relational database management system? This topic will consist of number of subtopics. See, these are the main topic names and these main topic names, under these main topic names, there are a number of huge small topics are there. Then the normalization, which is a very important concept of the database system. Then the SQL commands. This is a software or this is a language with the help of which we are going to perform the different operations on the database. So that is the SQL commands. PLSQL is nothing but the programming language SQL, with the help of which we are going to execute the programs on the database and the database security. So all these topics we are going to study detail one by one throughout this course in my channel. Now firstly we will start with the database management system introduction. Now see here, first we will see what is a data, right? What do you mean by the data? So see here, see we will divide this word in the small parts. The name of the subject is database management system. So we will convert this into data, then database, then database, then database management system. Now, one by one, we will see the information, or one by one, we will see the definition or the actual meaning of these three concepts. So, the database management system, this is a long word, but the meaning is very simple. First thing is a data. So, what do you mean by the data? So, data word you have heard number of times in your life, right? In day-to-day life, we have heard this word number of times. What do you mean by the data? See here, data is nothing but some information. Data is nothing but some information. But what type of information? The information which describes particular object. Information which describes particular object. This is nothing but the data of that object, particular object. Data is nothing but the information. As we know, data is nothing but the information. We know data collected is the information. But what type of information? The information which describes a particular object. Like, for example, if you take the example of anything, right? Object is nothing but the any real-time entity. Anything that you see in this real world, that is that nothing but a object. Whatever you see in the real life, real time, that is nothing but the object. So information which describes a particular object is nothing but the data. For example, if you take the example of book I am considering as an object. Now what is the information which describes a particular book? That is nothing but the title of that book. Who is the author of that book, which is the publication house or publication of that book, what is the price of that book, then the course for which it is developed. So this is, or we can say general, that the color of the book, number of pages of book. So this is nothing but the information which describes the particular book, the title of the book, author of the book, publication of the book, price of the book, the course for which this book is developed, the color of the book, number of pages of the book. So this is the information which is describing the particular book. So that is nothing but the data of this book. So all this will be called as a data. This will be called as a data of this book. This will be called as a data of one particular book. That is the information which is describing this book. What is the title of the book, author, publication, price, course, color, number of pages, etc. Now, if you take your mobile phone, day to day your gadget, that is your mobile phone. Now, if I take the information of the mobile phone, that is nothing but what? Mobile phone is also one of the object. Now, what is the information which is going to describe this mobile phone? The company or make of the mobile phone, the operating system inside your mobile phone, the RAM size of your mobile phone, the camera capacity or the camera, what we can say, camera pixels of your phone, color of your phone, price of your phone. You can extend this list up to n number of items depending upon your choice. You can extend it, you can brief it also. So if you take one particular object as a mobile phone, then what is the information or what is the data which describes this mobile phone? That is nothing but what is the make, company of the mobile phone, operating system of the mobile phone, what is the RAM size of the mobile phone, what is the camera pixels or camera capacity of the mobile phone, what is the color of the mobile phone, what is the price of the mobile phone. So these are the things which is going to describe the mobile phone. So we can call it as a data. This will be called as a data of the mobile phone. So you can means you can say data or information of anything. Data or information of anything. If you take the example of the employee, any person, right? If you take the example of any person, then what is the information that describes that person? What is the height of that person? Right? What is the weight of that particular person? What is the education of that particular person? Address, phone number, email ID, job profile, right? All these are the things which describes that particular object, and that is called as data. That is nothing but the data, right? That is nothing but the data. Now, if you take the example of the student object, if I take the example of the student object, what is the information which describes the particular student? Can you tell me? See, it's very simple. If you take the example of the student, what is the information which describes the student? What is the roll number of the student? The class in which he is studying, he or she is studying, the college name, then the address, then the phone number, then the email ID, right? Then the percentage, last year or last semester percentage. So these are the things which are going to describe the particular student, right? These are the information, these are the some brief points which are going to describe the student. So roll number of the student, class in which he or she is studying, the name of the college, the address of that particular student, phone number of the student, email ID of the student, and percentage of the last year or the last semester. So this is some of the contents or some of the brief information which describes the particular student. So that is called as a data. Right? That is called as a data. So are you clear with the data? Data point clear? Yes. Now we are concluded that data is nothing but information which describes information which describes the particular object, right? Now we have concluded that data is nothing but the information which describes the particular object. So anything, these are some of the examples: book, mobile phone, student, table, TV, anything that you see in the real world, you can collect the information or data of that particular object. Now next question, then what do you mean by the data? The next point, what do you mean by the database? Now, if I collection of similar type of data or similar type of elements. Now, see here, student. If I take, if I follow this information, then see here, if particular student has roll number 10, the student name is Arohi. The class is nothing but the suppose fourth standard, or we can say suppose FY. Okay. Then the college name, you can take anything. Suppose college name is MIT College. Then the address is Pune. Phone number is suppose something, and email ID is suppose something ABC. For example, we are taking this for the general example, and the percentage. Right? This is a roll number of the student is 10. The information or name of the student is Arohi. She is studying in the FY class. Her college name is MIT. Her address is Pune. Her phone number is so and so. Her email ID is this, and her percentage is 76. Now, what is called? This is called as a data. This is nothing but the data. Data of what? Data of one student. Data of one student which describes the student. Now, this is the information which is describing this ROE student, right? This is the information which describes this ROE student, right? Data of one student. Now, next question, what do you mean by the database? If I collect more than one student information in similar fashion, then that will be called as a database. Again, I am repeating, in same fashion or in the similar manner, if I collect more than one student information, more than one student data, then that will be called as a database. So see here. Next, for example, roll number of particular student is 11. The name of the student is suppose Samidha, anything you can take. If she is studying in the SY, then her college is suppose AIT college. Her address is Pune. Her phone number is something. Her email ID is Samidha. Anything you can write. Samidha@gmail.com. And her percentage are. Now, collection of more than one element. If I, in the similar fashion, if I store the data of more than one student, then that will be called as a database. Right? Then that will be called as a database. So I can store n number of student information in this database. I can store n number of student information in the database. In this fashion, suppose in the similar fashion, if I collect more than one student, if I collect the 5 student data, then and roll number of that 5 students, name of the 5 students, college, their address, email ID, phone number, percentage. If I collect more than one student information in the similar fashion, then that will be called as a database. So the definition of database is nothing but what? Collection. Right? It is a collection. More than one student information is nothing but the collection. Collection of, the next important word is similar. Collection of similar type of data. Collection of similar. Here, in one particular database, same type of information should be there. This is a one student information. This is a second student. This is a third, fourth, five, n number of students I can store here. But the same type of information. If One information I have stored, one data I have stored for the student, and the second or third data I have stored for the mobile phone, and then the book. Then that will not be called as a database. Collection of similar type of data. Collection of similar type of data. It's called as database. Collection of similar type of data is called as database. There should exist some relation between that data, right? relation must be Relation must be there in data, right? Relation must be there in the data. Now see here, this is the relation of the data. See, Arohi is a name of the student. FY is the class in which Arohi is studying. 10 is the roll number of the Arohi. Arohi is studying in the MIT college. Arohi lives in the Pune. This is the phone number of Arohi. This is the email ID of Arohi, and 76 is the percentage of the Arohi. That means what? This data is related with each other, right? This data is related with each other. That is called as a database. Collection of similar type of correlated data. It will be called as a correlated data. It's called as database, right? It's called as a database. Collection of similar type of data. Now see here, collection of similar data. I am storing or I am collecting same type of data of more than one student. Then that collection of data, same type of data, will be called as a database, or we can say this is a student database. If, for example, here we have seen the for the book, right? The title of the book, author, publication, price, course, color, number of pages. If I collect or if I store one book information, the title of one book, author, publication, all this information of one particular book, then that will be called as a data, a single data of a one book. And in the similar fashion, if I collect more than one book information, 10 books title, 10 books author, 10 books publication, their prices, their course, their color, number of pages. If I collect 10 books information in the same format, in the same fashion, then that will be called as a database. Database of book. The collection of similar type of correlated. Correlated means there must be some relation between that data. Their data must be relevant. Correlated data is called as a database. Are you getting? Any doubt? If you have any doubt, then you can type in the comment section. Now, next thing, how this data is represented. So you are going to collect this data, more than one data in one particular format. So database uses the table terminology. The database uses the tables to store the information or to store the data. Now see here, database uses tables to store information. The relational database management system is based on the tables. How this information, more than one student, the student database, say, if you are collecting the information of the books, if you are creating the book database, if you are creating the employee database, if you are collecting any account database. So all this information, see, number of elements are there, right? Number of elements are there. So all these elements, all this information of more than one student or more than one employee, more than one book, you can store into the table format. So you can store into the table format. So see here, insert table. The number of columns are nothing but the information that you want to store, the heading of the your column, and the rows are nothing but the information to store. Table you all know. What do you mean the table? You all know. Table is nothing but what? It is a collection of the columns and the it is a collection of column and it is collection of the rows. We all know this is a column. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6. And rows are nothing but what? This is row 1, this is row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, how we are going to store this information in the table? So see here. This 10 is nothing but what? Roll number of the student. So we will give here title of the column, that is the roll number. Now next ROE. ROE is nothing but what? The name of the student. Column titles you can give anything. Then FY is nothing but what? The class of the student. Then MIT is nothing but the college name of the student. Pune is nothing but address of the student. 78654321, this is nothing but the phone number of the student. Then next is here, next two fields remaining are email ID and the person. So you can add the columns here, columns to the right and insert columns to the right. Now here next is your email ID of student and last is the percentage of the student. So this is nothing but what? The main entity, or this is nothing but the representation of the database. Always database stores information in the tabular format, right? In the tabular format. Tables are used to store the database information. So you can just cut paste here. This is a roll number 10. The name of the student is Arohi. Sorry, the name of the student is Arohi. Then the class is FY. Then her college name is MIT. Then her address is Pune. Her phone number is this. Whatever you want to write. Then her email ID is abc@gmail.com and her percentage are 76. Her percentage are 76, right? The next second student, in second student is what? Second student is Samita. Her roll number is 11. See here, collection of similar type of data. Similar type का data है. Collection of more than one student. लेकिन उनका similar type का information है. The roll number of all the students, name of all the students, class of all the students, college of all the students, address of all the students, phone number, email ID, percentage of all students. So this is a collection of similar type of information. So this is called as a database. The name of the student is Samidha. Her class is SY. Her college name is VIT. Her address is Pune itself. And her phone number is this. Her email ID is samitha@gmail.com and her percentage are 80. Now here I am showing you the information of the two students. In this similar fashion, the single student information will be called as a data, but the more than one student information, the collection of same type of data will be called as a database. In this same fashion, if I store the information on all these rows, right? Suppose roll number 12, roll number 13, roll number 14, roll number 15, roll number 16 and roll number 17. In this similar fashion, if I collect the information of all the students 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are the 8 students. So 8 will be the collection of students. Right? More than one student information, if I am collecting in the similar fashion, then that will be called as a database. And the database information is always stored into the tabular format, which is nothing but the columns and the rows. What will be called as a column uh, in the database terminology or in the database language? What is the name of the column? What is the name of the row? How to create this table? How to store or insert the information to the table? For all those things, SQL commands are there. When that topic will come, I will teach you how to do all these things. Now here, for your understanding purpose, I have created everything manually for your understanding. This is just the introduction. But all these things, creation of the table, loading information into the table, extracting the information, adding rows, deleting rows, updating rows, information of the student, adding new student record, deleting any student record, or updating any student record, everything is done with the help of the database language, that is the SQL language, and there are specific commands for this. As that topic will come, I will show you the contents. I will show you, or I will teach you all that topics. So have you understood all these things? Understood, students? This is a database, the collection of more than collection of similar type of correlated data. That is nothing but the information. And in data is nothing but what? Information which describes a particular object. Getting? And lastly, database management system. Then next is, what do you mean by the database management system? Now we have seen the information, we have seen all the topics. See, data is nothing but, see, we have seen all the things, right? Data is nothing but what? You can see it. It is the information, right? Information which describes a particular object, right? Like as we have seen the information of the student, right? What do you mean by the database? Database is nothing but collection of similar type of correlated information or correlated data is called as a database, right? As I told you, if we collect or store more than one student information in similar manner, same type of information of more than one object, then that will be called as a database. And how to, I have collected that information, but where to store that information? The database uses the tables to store that information. Okay? So that is nothing but the database. Now next, what do you mean by the database management system? Now, up to this point, we have learned about what do you mean by the data, then what do you mean by the database. Now, next thing, what do you mean by the database management system? Now, see here, database management system is nothing but what? The collection of similar type of information is database, and set of programs to access those data, it's called as a database management system. A collection of similar type of information, it's called as database, and the set of programs to access those data, it's called as a database management system. What do you mean by the set of programs? Now here again you can see, here again you can see, just a minute. A database and the set of programs to access those data will be called as a database management system, right? That will be called as a database management system. Now set of programs are nothing but what? Set of programs are nothing but the SQL commands. The SQL commands or the SQL programs which are going to access those database. With the help of the SQL commands, you are going to create database, you are going to insert information, you are going to modify, you are going to delete, you are going to do number of operations on that database. So that will be called as a set of programs. So overall, the concept of the database management system is nothing but what? A collection of similar type of correlated data is database, and the set of programs to access those data is called as a database management system. Database plus set of programs to access those database collectively called as a database management system, right? And those set of programs are nothing but the SQL or PLSQL commands, programs with the help of which you are going to access the database. So how to do that? What is the procedure, how to do that? So that we will learn step by step whenever we will come to that particular topic. So for today's session, I think I have covered all the points related to the introduction of the database management system. So thank you so much. If you have any doubt, then you can write in the comment section, and please give me feedback whether you like this video or not. Thank you. Thank you so much.